Hey guys, so for today's video I wanted to talk about the best snakes in my opinion for beginners to get as a pet, because I've gotten a lot of questions of people asking which snakes are best for beginners, and a lot of people tell me that I make them want to get a pet snake. So I just want to kind of direct you guys down the right path so you get the right snake for you. So the three types of snakes I'm going to be talking about that are in my opinion the three best for beginners are corn snakes, king snakes, and ball pythons, and these are also the most readily available. You can just go to like PetSmart and get one. However, I don't recommend going to PetSmart and getting a snake by any means. Definitely check Pet Finder and like shelters and stuff to see if you can adopt a snake, because there are a lot of them up for adoption and they do live a long time anyways, so even if you get a snake that's a few years old, it really shouldn't matter to you. First, I'm going to talk about corn snakes and king snakes kind of together because they're very similar in my opinion. And then I'm going to talk about ball pythons just because they're a little bit more tricky, but they're still great for beginners, don't get me wrong. So corn snakes and king snakes are fairly docile. However, you do need to handle them a lot in order for them to be comfortable with being handled so much. They can be a little bit nippy when they're young, however their biting doesn't hurt by any means, and you just need to be careful and make sure you handle them a lot so they get used to you. And obviously don't handle them right after you feed them or while they are shedding, because they tend to be more aggressive during those times. They also have very easy requirements. They require a 20-gallon tank minimum for an adult snake. However, I would obviously recommend getting a larger tank. The bigger the better, and the happier the snake. However, 20 gallons is the minimum for an adult corn snake or a king snake. They tend to get like around 3 or 4 feet in length, and they weigh around 2 pounds when they're full grown. So they're fairly long, however they are very small around. They are very skinny snakes. They aren't big fat snakes, so you don't need to be afraid of having a giant snake if you get one of them. And also they tend to be kind of fast moving. Ball pythons are very chill. They just kind of sit there and they're very slow. But corn snakes and king snakes are kind of fast. And in their tank, all you'll need is substrate, obviously, a water dish, a hide, and then you need a heat pad. And that's basically all you need for them. And that's why they're so easy, because they have such little requirements and they just eat mice. If you get a bigger snake, then they might need to eat rats, but in general, corn snakes and king snakes usually tend to eat mice their entire lives. And yeah, that's basically all you need to know for them. Like, they're very easy to take care of. This isn't by any means like a how to take care of snakes video. I'm just kind of telling you like basically what you need to know, but obviously if you're gonna get one, go look up what you actually need to do. But they are very simple to take care of. They're fairly docile. Ball pythons, in my opinion, are more friendly. But they are friendly snakes as long as you continuously handle them and you're very careful with them. And their biting doesn't hurt, so you really just don't need to worry about it. And now moving on to ball pythons and why they're a little bit harder to take care of, but in my opinion, they're my favorite. They do get a little bit bigger, still around 3 or 4 feet in length. They can reach like 5 feet if you get a female, and they tend to be around 5 pounds as adults. I would say, as with all snakes, they never really stop growing. They just have a growth spurt. After that, they just slow down in growing. So I wouldn't say he's really like full-sized yet, but he's getting there. If you get a female, they're going to be a lot bigger. They're going to be maybe closer to like 8 pounds to 10 pounds-ish range. They get a lot fatter. So if you want a small snake, get a male ball python. Ball pythons are very chill, like I said. They just kind of sit here. They don't really care. A lot of people ask me if Monty's ever tried to bite me. He has never nipped at me or bitten me or anything like that. He's just very chill. He just kind of sits here and he doesn't really care. I can like, you know, handle him however I want, and he just doesn't really care. He just takes it, he tolerates it, he doesn't mind. And since they're bigger snakes, they require bigger tanks, so you're gonna need at least a 40-gallon tank. And the only other thing with these that make them a little bit trickier is you do need humidity in their tank. So you don't want a tank with a screen top on it, because that lets all the humidity out. And keeping up humidity really isn't too difficult. If you just have a large enough water bowl in here for him to lay in, then it'll usually keep the humidity up in the tank as long as you don't have a screen top. but you still want to watch the humidity, and if it gets a little bit low, all you have to do is spray around the tank with a water bottle and then you're good to go. So keeping up the humidity really isn't that big of a deal, but it is one extra thing you need to know that makes them a little bit more work than corn snakes and king snakes, but really it's not a big deal at all. And also, ball pythons are notorious for being picky eaters, and they go off feeding for long periods of time for literally no reason. A lot of times in the winter months, Monty will stop eating for like 4 or 5 months, which can be scary if you're not used to it. When it first happened, I kind of freaked out, and it's just something that beginners will freak out about, but as long as they don't start to look very skinny and they don't lose a lot of weight, then it's fine. They just tend to do it and then they'll start eating randomly again. And also, since ball pythons get bigger than corn snakes and king snakes, you do need to feed them rats once they're bigger. Like, he eats medium-sized rats now, and when he's even bigger, he might even have to start eating large rats. I really don't know. So I don't know if this made any sense, but I'm just going to do a quick overview. King snakes and corn snakes are probably easier to take care of, very slightly. In general, ball pythons are also very easy to take care of. The only real difference between ball pythons and king snakes and corn snakes is ball pythons need a larger tank. They need at least a 40-gallon. King snakes and corn snakes need a 20-gallon minimum tank. Ball pythons will be a lot more chill all the time, and they're very slow and they just sit there, and corn snakes and king snakes tend to be kind of fast and they can be a little bit nippy sometimes. But again, it's fine if you handle them a lot. And king snakes and corn snakes will eat mice their entire lives. Ball pythons will at some point go on to rats. And ball pythons also need humidity in their tank, which you do not need to worry about with king snakes and corn snakes as much. And then king snakes and corn snakes are more consistent feeders, and ball pythons will be very inconsistent and sometimes go months without eating. And that's really all you need to know. Snakes are super easy to take care of. They are not like other reptiles like lizards and stuff where you need like heat lamps or anything like that. They're very simple. So it's definitely, in general, I think snakes are a very good beginner pet in general, just because they're so simple. Snakes just kind of have a negative stigma around them, but really they make great pets. So yeah, if you have any questions about like owning snakes as pets or anything, or you have any other videos you want me to make, I would love to answer your questions in the comments and make other videos regarding snakes. So yeah, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I post 2 videos a week. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And also thank Monty for being a very nice co-host.